Hancock. The whole of Britain knows you in your professional comic mask, and tonight we want to try and find out what lies behind the mask. Now, are you in the mood to come clean?
Yes, indeed.
You know you're on your own, you're without your scriptwriters.
Yes.
And you'll tell us the truth.
I'll try to.
Do you like talking about yourself or not?
Yes, up to a point, particularly in relation to what I do.
Well, then in that case...
to comedy, yes.
All right, then I'll ask you first of all, why are you a comic?
Well, I think I always certainly wanted to be from the first time I can remember. And perhaps looking like this, it was perhaps the only thing I could do. So I turned the sort of deficiencies into a workable thing, if you understand what I mean.
Yes, but let's go a bit deeper than that. Do you think the world is a comic place or is it a tragic place?
Well, I think it consists of the two things. It's both funny and sad, which seem to me to be the two basic ingredients of good comedy.
Basic ingredients. What is being funny? Is it mixing them together? How do you tell
Well, I
what
think
is
they
funny?
exist together anyway.
Yes.
By the way we live. When we attempt to be affected or pompous or, how can I say, we are sort of all unsure of ourselves and what we live in. We try to live in a certain way. We are, I suppose, to a certain extent, all affected, and that is both funny and sad, I think.
So that being funny is showing how people are affected. Is that what you're trying to say?
I think so. I think you explode your own pomposity and other people's and get probably to the real truth of the way you live.
And so that being funny is part of the business of finding out the truth about life.
Entirely.
Yes.
Not to do, you can't think of it in any other way.
Now, your own comedy character, the one we know in Hancock's Hancock, swagger, bluster, and then not being very effectual in the end. Is that right?
I don't think you can sort of really theorize entirely about these things. As I say, this is all sort of part of what you are and part of what everybody else is. It's a comment on yourself and a comment on everybody else, I think.
Well, how much is it a comment on yourself?
Oh, to a great extent, to a great extent. I mean, shall we say the character that, it isn't a character that I play, that I put on and off like a coat. It is greatly a part of me and a part of everybody else that I see.
Are you trying to say with it something which is serious? Is there a message, or are you simply trying to make people laugh?
Not exactly a message. I think if you go to that extent, I think perhaps you lose the intuitive thing, which is bad. No, I think it's just a true observation of the way things are, as far as you can see it yourself.
Looking at yourself as a comic, after all, in the television and film era, you've seen yourself as a comic very often, which many of the great comics didn't. Yes. What is there about you think that makes people laugh?
Well, it's difficult to say. I don't think I can be really objective about that. I think I know where my own mistakes are as I make them. I don't think I gain anything by seeing myself.
Is it facial expression? Is it good script writers? Is it a sense of timing? Is it a knowledge of what constitutes comedy? You must have some idea.
It's a knowledge of what constitutes living in general, I think. As I say, you take the weaknesses of your own character and of other people's characters, and you exploit them. You show yourself up and you show them up.
Now, it's often been said about you, I don't know whether you think this is true or not, that one thing that you do in your comedy is to ridicule the things that you dislike in life. Is that true?
Yes, that also applies to the things you dislike in yourself.
All right, well, now, what are they?
Oh, I think a certain affectation. I mean, I know, for instance, I often find in a script things that I've said in all seriousness, which they later write up in detail and absolutely, which later turn out to be funny. If I've been angry or something like that, and I look at this and I think, yes, that's very funny, unfortunately. Yes. It's something that I'd said at the time and been rather pompous about, and they have noticed this and written it down. There it is.
This is an example of debunking yourself. Now, how much do you try and debunk other people as well?
Oh, well, you do that, shall we say, generously. Yes, you do. You debunk pomposity, affectation.
What are the things? Can you tell me that there are particular things in the world that you know you dislike? Personal characteristics, first of all. Is it pomposity that you're after?
You don't dislike them, you accept them.
But you also...
I mean, you're tolerant towards them.
But these are what you'd like to pillory, if you could.
Yes, as I say, both in yourself and in everything that you see.
Pomposity is the first one. Anything else? Bad temper, greed?
All those things, yes, I think.
And in the world, apart from people in the world outside, what would you most like to reform about the world if you had the chance?
I'm not capable of doing that.
Oh, don't you have dreams about it?
No. You just observe and practice within the limitations of your own talent what you see around you.
You've never dreamed of playing Hamlet?
No. I don't think it's for me, really.
You must have, and indeed I believe you have in fact, got quite a lot of personal opinions all the same. Let's just take some of them. Have you got any religious views?
No, I have no religion now.
That means that you're not interested, or that
I'm deeply interested, and shall we say, I'm trying to find a faith, but I've had to throw away the initial faith that I was brought up in, and therefore am now starting again from scratch.
Well, now, what were you brought up in?
Church of England.
I see. And you've thrown that away. Does that mean you don't believe in God any longer, or might you adopt some other Christian religion?
I'm completely, as I say, this has been eliminated now. This I no longer believe in. So therefore, I have to have an open mind and look for something else.
Can you recall any moment in your life when this particular God failed you?
I think, no, not. It was a thing I think that I began to see perhaps when I was about 15 or 16. I think I was fairly deeply Christian before that. And it just failed. Was no longer believable.
Do you find yourself answerable in your moral judgments to anybody except yourself?
No, I think actually it is a strong. You are more moral, because it is true to say of morality surely that it is without reward, or should be without reward. It must be purely and simply moral and for no reason.
Yes, but then you must have some standard of judgment. Do you judge by anything except your own built-in conscience?
No, your own experience, I suppose.
Yes. What about politics? Any political beliefs?
Then again, unformed, I would say, at the moment. No, not really. Not to a sort of any sort of particular affiliation.
Are you interested in the sort of lives that ordinary people have? Do you try and...
Indeed, I think any actor, that is the raw material. That's where you draw from. That is the whole of it.
Do you find that as great success has come to you, you've become separated from ordinary people?
No. Even more, I'm completely in love with my own profession, if you can call it that. And the people are, as I say, the people that you observe. You find them more tolerance towards them, and they are what you get your inspiration is too big a word, but what you get your as I say, your work from.
Most actors, you know, I think are in love with their own profession, but you now have reached a level. It's said of you, and I suppose it's true, that you earn something like $35,000 a year now.
I don't.
Well, you can deny that if you like, but I bet you earn not far short of that.
Well, I don't actually, because I don't work very much. I work for short times, very hard, and then I don't work at all because I need to think. And I'm also trying to educate myself, so I don't make a lot of money, or not all that, not all that much money, because I take a long time off to think and prepare for what I want to do in the future, you see.
Well, I don't want to stay on this too long, but while we are on it, do you deny the story, which has often been published and which I don't think you've denied before, that you're getting about $30,000 a year from the BBC?
Yes, I deny it.
All right, well...
Just about.
Just about?
Yes.
All right, well, we'll leave it at that. Now, tell me then a bit, you say that you still have contact with ordinary people, and I want to ask you a bit how you do live. Do you live, for instance, town or country?
In the country. I have a house in the country.
And some kind of flat in London or not?
I usually take a flat for the time that the series is on because of travel and that sort of thing, and when the pressure is on, I find that I need to.
But your normal home is in England, in the country?
Yes.
Now, you do go abroad a lot, don't you?
Yes.
Why?
Well, I find that, shall we say, that the only use I have for money really is to travel and to have the luxury of independence, to choose what work I do, and to read and to learn, and therefore to put back into my own profession a little more, shall we say. I mean, the two things go together. You must, the more you expand as an individual, the more you see, the more you read, the more you learn, the more you have to offer.